brand new, and then we'll take it higher.
Booyah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. It is September the 19th, 2019, and that is a Thursday here inside the Tap Room in Northern Superior Brewing Company. It is your host, David McCaig, and I'm here joined by my co-hosts and analysts, Alex Parr and Justin Hykel, and I bring in the fellas in just a few moments to get to the usual introduction portion of the show. Giving a shout out to Scott Neeson, who's going to be our main board operator tonight. Yours truly, the assistant board operator. The show is powered by all of our sponsors here on the Game Sports Show, in particular with ESPN 1400, and through Soo Online on TV, of course. And you're listening to the show on thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or through our YouTube channel, or through any of our sponsored shared social media pages, or even through our Facebook page at The Game Sports Show, or Instagram page at The Game Sports Show. Either way, we're very happy that you're able to join us here on the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. Last night, we did not have a show from Sportscenter Bar and Grill. It was canceled due to yours truly and some Game Sports Show staff members having some scheduling conflicts, if you would say. The Dean Brody and Dallas Smith concert in particular was a great show there at the GFL Memorial Gardens. I'm hoping the Soo gets more concerts like that. And the turnout was okay. If everyone really wants to know, the concert was a great show by both Dallas and Dean. So that's why we did not have a show last night from Sportscenter. We will be back there next week. We are making the show all combined into one tonight. So right now I have Alex and Justin with me. After part one here, we have Daniel Scarpino, our new soccer analyst on the Game Sports Show, joining myself and Alex. Part three will be me, Alex, and Justin again. In part four, we are going to have myself and Matt Premo. Not too sure if Justin or Alex is still going to be here at that current time, but myself and Matt Premo are going to be talking in the pocket, bringing in from our Sportscenter show that we do on Wednesday. And if we have some time, we're going to get some bonus content in terms of some figure skating and even MLB discussion. So we got lots here on this action-packed edition, as always, of the game. And don't forget, the Game Sports Show is always on location, on scene. We're partners and cover all the local sports teams, and we have lots going on. And we also talk the professional as well. So we're going to dive right into it, fellas. First, Alex, how you doing, my friend?
I am doing so well. There's no better reason to be here than other to not hear we're at the pier for a beer. So glad we're inside the tap room today.
I didn't have to say that. Inside the tap room where you have beer on tap.
No.
Justin, how are you?
It doesn't quite have the ring that...
And here inside Northern, this is our now... we've been here for a couple of years now, okay? And my whole point of saying that is that every time we come here, we're always welcome. Great Blake Winter, fantastic. He has a great mustache right now as well. Must throw that out. Trevor Zachary as well, the GM here inside Northern Superior Brewing Company, and general manager of the Soo Thunderbirds as well, which connects well to what we work with here in Soo, Ontario, with all the sports teams. Northern has done a great job with us. They also gave us a banner. We do not have that banner up here today because we have to find a way to put it. We might be keeping it here permanently and getting another one for Sportscenter. We're doing a lot of things. Ooh. So a lot of different logos you're going to see of the Game Sports Show around Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, potentially. But here at Northern Superior Brewing Company, they do a lot of great things. So we're very happy to be back. And they got some delicious beer, and they got some great things coming too. Let me tell you about this beer, this new beer. It's going to be coming out, so I'm not going to say anything else. It's going to be absolutely delicious. But Justin, my friend, how are you?
Not bad. Not too bad. A little warm one today, but...
you got your yellow jersey on.
Yeah,
beers and...
It's just the beers.
Oh, Dub beers. Okay, you got Dub beers. Okay, that's your touch football
tonight.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that's your season's already been for a bit, eh? A couple weeks. Yeah. Yeah, it's football.
They tried to bump us up to A division, but evidently A division couldn't handle this.
It couldn't handle the beers.
So
that's a modest flex, I think. That's a little.
He kind of flexed his right arm too a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
Well, I mean, really,
the cannon. He calls it the cannon. Eh?
There's some superior athletes up there, and I don't know.
It's Northern Superior.
Yeah, like superior as much as touch football in the Soo could be. You could go international.
No, I think they just came out of high school and they're like just in shape. That's the shape. That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to go to the chiropractor before I could play football today. So,
see, the one thing is we got a lot to cram in, fellas. We're going to jump right into it. Okay, I want to appreciate everyone for joining us here tonight again here on thegamesportshow.com and all of our platforms. We're going to talk about local here in the first part of the show, and we're going to break this all into one part. Originally, there's supposed to be one parts, but it's not going to be. We have certain time frames to follow, so we combine everything into one. So here to start off, we're going to talk about the Soo Thunderbirds. The Soo Thunderbirds unfortunately dropped their third straight game losing 3-1 to Rayside Balfour Canadians. David Bowen was in between the pipes of Rayside Balfour. Very good goaltender. Also his father, Joe Bowen, legend of voice of the Leafs,
No way,
and
that's
friend
him,
of the show.
I had no idea that was him.
Legend, and also friend and follower of the show. He's been on the show a couple times. We're planning to have him on the coming month or so. So his son did a great job there in net for Rayside, as goalies that both made over 30 saves in the game did for both Rayside and the Thunderbirds. The next game for the Soo Thunderbirds is Saturday, the 21st, at the famous Polar Stadium in Sioux, Michigan, against the Sioux Eagles. The border battle, 7 p.m. start. Avery Rebick is the one who got the goal for the Thunderbirds in this previous defeat. The Thunderbirds losing 3 straight. You know, the Thunderbirds, and I had a conversation with Trevor Zachary prior to Wednesday's game when I was at the Rhodes. The Hounds were on one side, the Thunderbirds on the other side, practicing both very intense practices. Intense coaching staff. You know, we know in particular how John is. And the Thunderbirds losing 3 straight is something that you don't see, and we haven't seen in years and years. And this isn't an excuse, but yes, they've had to battle some injuries, some suspensions. The team meshing together, some new faces on there. You know, this is still a very good hockey team. The Blind River Beavers, undefeated. Kyle Brick has turned that program around there in Blind River, and the Eagles searching for the first regulation win. So a lot of the local teams are still some excitement to see, but the Soo Thunderbirds are going to look to bounce back against the Sioux Eagles, and the Sioux Eagles are going to look to bounce back against the Thunderbirds to get the ball rolling. What better than to have a big high momentum game than a Polar Stadium at the border battle, Justin?
It's a good sports weekend coming up in the Sioux here. I mean, that rink cross river is going to be rocking Saturday night.
Polar burgers are going to be flying off the grill.
And I mean, both teams are going to be hungry. That's
oh, wow. Okay,
that worked well.
That worked very well. Transition. See, Alex, the Beavers, and mostly quickly because we got to transition to a few other topics.
Yeah, for sure.
But 4-0 for Blind River. To see that
bad.
program the way it's progressed and see how it's come along, the community is really behind that team. They're buying into what Kyle's saying. They're getting recruitment with players. It's a lot easier to go. I remember playing there as a player, even when I coached as an assistant coach, that a lot of players weren't attracted to go to Blind River not because of the record even. You don't want to play junior hockey, but you know what? It's just, where's that?
You're just kind of out of the way.
But people don't forget, Blind River is a gold mine in my opinion. I love that community, and I love covering the 3 area teams that we have, but Blind River always has a soft spot for me. So it's good to see it. I want to give it congratulations. A good start. Still a lot of games left in the season. So
54-game season?
Yeah, so I'm pumping the brakes a little bit. But it's good to see Blind River. Congratulations to them on their start. Soo Thunderbirds and Eagles, great game this weekend. Make sure you check that out. Thunderbirds looking to bounce back from being now losing 3 straight. Soo College men's hockey. Justin, I'm going to pass this over to you to take the mantle. They have their home opener this weekend, defending champions in terms of they've won the Division 3 crown. They're not in the Division 3 this year. They are going to be in Division 2. They're icing a lot of new faces. Sorry, easy for me to say, and some fresh old faces, I like to call it, because it's fresh because Division 2 is a new league to them. And they have a home rink at the Rankin, and it's great to see that. I love to see the growth of this program. I know Algoma University was always wanting to start a hockey program as well, but it seems like Soo College has definitely spearheaded that and taken that away. Justin, what does Soo College have going on this weekend?
This weekend, it's their big homecoming weekend. I believe there's men's and women's soccer at Superior Heights.
Yeah, we shared that
Saturday.
on our Facebook page or schedule. Check that out.
I think there's some sort of tailgate. I don't know if it's going on at Soo College, and they're busing over and busing back.
I believe it's at the Rankin.
Yeah, it's at the Rankin.
I want to say,
is it?
99.9% sure that it will be taking place at 6 o'clock at the Rankin. The puck drop for 7.
Yep.
They're not doing anything before the soccer game?
Not that I know of, but $8 ticket. You can email them, or you can go into the school. $8 to get you to all 3 games, the tailgate party. So
that makes sense.
That makes Saturday night there was at Miami, Ohio. Saturday night, and then they play them again Sunday around noon.
Yes.
So you can get out there Sunday. I think it's 12:35 they play. So before you settle into the couch for Sunday football,
go check out the Rankin.
You can stop at Chummy's for breakfast.
We shared. We have Soo College athletic schedules all on our Facebook page. Check it out at the Game Sports Show. You can have that and access that. Soo College has some good hockey players racing this year.
First homecoming ever for the school, so let's make it a good one for them.
That's pretty cool.
Let's make this pack the Rankin. Let's go.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Soo Greyhounds.
Oh, I am so excited.
Something's happening tomorrow night. The OHL is underway as well. Flint home to the Sault, or home against. Sorry, the Soo Greyhounds are home against Flint. There we
Hosting
go.
the Firebirds.
Hosting the Firebirds. There we go. And their home opener.
4 years he's been doing this?
Yeah.
5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sometimes he's excited.
Very overexcited. 7:07 puck drop start. The Game Sports Show and Soo Online on TV will be there. And I should say ESPN 1400 will also be on location there. Alex and Scott will be the ones on location representing the show this weekend with the Soo Greyhounds. Flint is a better team this year.
Yep.
They are going to be a decent hockey team. They're going to be a playoff team, in my opinion. I tell you right now, Flint is going to be a playoff team this year. So are the Hounds, though, Alex.
The Hounds are, I think, sort of in the same position as the Toronto Raptors, where people are just so quick to write them off. Oh, all these players aren't going to be there. Oh, that's it. It's over. It's going to be, I think, a cakewalk for the playoffs to happen for the Greyhounds. I think they're going to walk right in, no problems. Like I said on the show on Tuesday, Christian Prop, this city hasn't opened their eyes to him yet. You don't make 250 save performances.
How many years you been doing this?
Just a couple months. And 240 save performances in the same playoffs without being an elite goalie. He posted a .927 save percentage in that playoff round.
Fantastic.
Small sample size, but .927 for the OHL is astronomical. .927 in the NHL playoffs is astronomical. So I think a lot of the workload will be given to Prop, but I think he's up to the challenge.
I think so, too.
I think you can't write them off just because you don't recognize names. I mean, a lot of people did this at the beginning last year, and then there was
Pitlick's here all year, too.
Ooh.
We forget about Jaromir Pitlick.
Give me more Jaromir Pitlick. Put him on
Guy's
both.
a first-round pick this year.
Put him on both the power play and the penalty kill. Put him on the first line.
Cole McCaig.
Oh
This guy's going to be an absolute monster this season. Ryan O'Rourke, absolute monster this year.
And if I had to guess, I'm assuming Barrett Hayton probably won't make the Coyotes right out of camp.
I don't think so either. I've said that, but if he does, he will play with Phil Kessel.
Which would be awesome to watch.
It's nothing against the guy. You see him at the World Juniors. You see him at the Greyhounds, the level he can produce at, but there's no point in burning a year on an ELC.
Yep. Bring him back for a year, and if that happens, it's a plus for the Hounds for 2 reasons. One, you keep him for hopefully a long playoff run if your recruits bring in some guys in for trade or if you're going to make a run. Or, if you're still a middle-of-the-pack team and you feel like you still contend, you can still trade Barrett and get some massive trade value. But I don't think they would do that because they have a good prospect pool coming up and all that stuff, too. And he's your captain.
Right. And what does that do to a locker room, too, when you ship out the captain, right? Yeah. I just feel like they'll stay away from that. I hope Hayden comes back.
If he comes back, Coyotes will probably give him strict direction.
Yes.
There's going to be some stuff to follow there.
And I also think that the Greyhounds, what I'd like to see is just take the roster they have, maybe a couple pieces if they're easy enough to trade for, but I'd like to see what this team can do, what the younger guys can do that haven't made that impression on the city yet, because at some point or another, they're either going to be able to or not, and let's see it. I think this is the year they should take that time to focus on.
Malik will be here this year, too. I tell you, he'll be here just like Pitlick was, the halfway point, or at that point, that's when Malik will be here.
Do you think he'll out-battle Prop for that number one spot? You're really high on Malik.
I am very high on Malik. I think it's a great pick. I see a lot of Robin Leonard and Malik for some reason. I just kind of see that's what I kind of see in him. And
is it just because he's an import goalie playing for the Greyhounds?
That's a very obvious pick out, but no, just the athleticism that Leonard did have in his youth. He still does.
Oh, now he does. He's really gone right back on track. Yeah, he got back on track, right? It's what I see the young Robin Leonard. But again, I think Ethan Taylor might be the odd one out, and I'm sorry to Ethan there. I could be wrong. He's got to prove me wrong and some viewers and some fans wrong, because he's going to have to prove that he's ready to take that step, because if Prop plays the way he does, then that's hard. But you know what? It's also, if Prop plays well and Ethan plays all right and Malik comes, maybe you go with Malik and Taylor and you move Prop to get more picks again. Like there's a lot of assets, right? The Hounds know what they're doing. And the fans here, the Hounds have been good for not 1, not 2, not 3, like 5+ years they've been good. Since Dubas was here, that's when they've been good. Yeah, and even before that, there was a little period where they maybe missed the playoffs once, and then we're in the playoffs for another big chunk, 4, 5, 6 years.
Always good recruiting, always good trading. The only bad trade I remember is, Kyle Dubas, was for Jack Campbell. I thought that was a very atrocious trade. But besides that, you have a position where this team is in a good spot. It's some good upcoming prospects, and it's good excitement here for the Hounds.
Absolutely. Let's get the season started. I'm so jacked.
That's
pumped. David, Alex, Justin, Northern Superior Tap Room. Beer delicious. Nice, simple words. And Alex, we have some Algoma Youth Thunderbirds, 4 new recruits. I'm going to pass it over to you, because before we've mentioned this, I will be honest, listeners, I was going to take the lead on this, and I don't feel like butchering any names today. So, Alex, I want you to take the lead.
Okay.
Announce the 4 new recruits, a little inside.
I feel like I'm going to butcher a few of them, so I apologize in advance, but I was practicing earlier, so just know that I do care.
Chloe Martinuk, Caitlin McLaughlin, Mercedes Ryan, returning from the Soo, Ayaka Nakashima, and Nakashima actually comes from Japan. She played for the runner-up basketball team in her California State Championship, and returning to the team familiar faces Victoria Culp, Sawyer Fisher, Carly Fracalanza, and I'm sure our teachers probably said it way worse than that, so Carly, I apologize. Kayla Gallo, Kira Gallo, Amy Garland, Darren Lindquist, Dion Martin, Thace Matt, and Rebecca Wiles. So it was a lot worse when Dave did it, so I'll take the blunt of the blame here.
Yeah, I did originally record it, and I erased it. That's the best thing about pre-record. But when we're live here in Soo, Ontario, a little tidbit for people, that will probably a little bit alter in terms of me being able to erase my little mistakes. Ha, ha, ha. Justin, Dave, Alex, once again inside the tap room. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got Daniel Scarpino coming here on the Game Sports Show. Then it'll be myself and Alex and Dan there. Then part 3 will be myself, Justin, and Alex. So lots more sports coming your way here on The Game. Don't go anywhere.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Play Museum, right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a Northern thing.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. It's David McCaig alongside Alex Parr, and here joined by our soccer analyst, Algoma University soccer coach, my cousin as well, Daniel Scarpino, newcomer of the show. You made your debut on Tuesday from Soo Online. Great show. You can check that out on TV through YouTube. You can listen to it through our Podbean page, through our website, www.thegamesportshow.com or thegamesportshow.podbean.com, respectively, for those two. Great segment. A lot of views, a lot of soccer discussion. Talk about your background, talk about previous games, upcoming games, local development, everything. We're going to have you here now, Dan. Just give us some soccer discussion about everything that's happening locally for Algoma University. I'm giving you the floor.
Fantastic. So for the men and the women, we're 6 games in at Algoma University for the soccer program. Coming up this weekend, we have our 7th game of the season to mark the exact halfway point in the year of our 14-game schedule.
Already, hey?
Already. The OUA actually reduced the games this year from 16 back to 14 as part of a project that they're doing, a 2-year trial run anyway to see if it works. This weekend we're traveling to Guelph. We're actually leaving tomorrow morning. That'll mark the halfway point of our season. The women so far are sitting at 1-5, and the men are sitting at 0-1-5. And so that's where the men and the women sit at Algoma right now for the soccer program. And in the second half of the season, you're trying to make a playoff push.
Road trip, Alex. Road trip he's going.
I assume most of your games are road trips, though. No, you have to play the majority of your games on the road, correct?
Half and half.
It is half and half.
Yeah, so the schedule flip-flops every year. So for example, this year we host York, we host Brock, we host Waterloo, and we host Western. Next year we will flip-flop the schedule, and we will go to all of those places, and everywhere that we've traveled this year, they will come and meet us. So we play 7 at home, 7 on the road, and as the schedule used to be, 8 on the road, 8 at home.
So you're probably traveling more than most other teams in the OUA, then?
In terms of distance traveled and in terms of time traveled, absolutely, yeah.
There's another thing with that comes with all those points that he just mentioned. It's called budget. And money that comes with that.
Most definitely.
Very true.
Now, do you have, when the men's or women's soccer team, do you guys do fundraisers or anything else? I know this is more of a kind of like a personal question that was going to maybe save a lot more for Dave Marasco when he comes on eventually, but I'm going to throw Dan under, our analyst under the bus. Benefits, any kind of fundraisers, anything that the community can do to support this program to bring in that more income?
Well, the university as a whole does projects throughout the year, and that could all be linked through the Algoma University Facebook page. Yeah. And it's just really, it's at random in terms of when something comes up or when they decide to jump into something. For example, the Algoma U Color Run. That's something that is fundraising that goes directly towards the university. And any other projects as well, basketball games or anything that they decide to do from a university perspective in terms of getting involved in the community. So it's really at random, but the best way to find out about what's going on in terms of Algoma University and how you can donate and get involved in that way from a fundraising perspective is through their Facebook page.
Now, transitioning back to the soccer, practice this week in prep.
Yes.
How does
how does that go at Algoma University?
So basically, the day after games, we have a recovery session where basically we just bring the players in for a little bit of physio work, a little bit of stretching, some light ball work, and a little bit of cardio just to basically get the lactic acid out of the legs and those sorts of things, because typically we play back-to-backs, which 2 90-minute performances on any given weekend, doesn't matter who you're playing, that's tough on any player. So our day after the game, we do a recovery session. The 2 days following that, we work on technical and tactical work. So we're working on things as to how we're going to play in our system and different concepts and topics and ideologies and how we're going to play to our philosophy and in our system. And then typically 1 or 2 days out before we actually play, so either on Thursday or Friday, we'll work on set pieces, so corner kicks, free kicks. We'll do some defensive shape work. We'll do some stuff of how we want to work in the attack, and basically just have a bit of fun through some games at the end of training. So that's basically how our week looks. And then we like to either if we're traveling, we don't do anything on the day before a game, or we just have a recovery day.
First year coach?
At the university, yes.
Yes. Do you find that being a younger coach as opposed to some of your other competition I'm going to have, or you're going to have, does that help you connect with the players a little bit more, that they can say, hey, this guy, he wasn't that far behind me or far ahead of me when he was going to school playing soccer himself?
Yeah, it really does, for the simple fact that I was in their shoes not that long ago. It was only a matter of really about 3 years ago that I was in my final year of varsity athletics, so they can relate to me in that way, and the age gap isn't too big. Our oldest player is a 97, and I'm a 93, so there's a 4-year gap there. Most of our players now are born in 2000, 2001, but still the gaps,
God, I'm getting old.
Yeah.
It's different now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's God.
Yeah, but no, the age gap certainly helps in terms of relating to the players, understanding what they're going through from a school perspective, from a sport perspective, from a social perspective. So, it's really nice in that way that I'm able to relate to the players in terms of the age gap being so narrow.
Were you worried that maybe they wouldn't buy in? They'd say, hey, who's this first-year guy telling me what to do?
I was really worried, and when I first came in, I actually had a meeting with Neil. It was actually about... Coach Neil, that is, about 2 weeks before preseason started. And I said, are the guys going to buy into what I'm telling them in training, and are they going to listen? He goes, yes, they will listen, because it's you, and you've done it, and you've been here, and you've put your time in, and you've put your work in, and you've done it yourself. So the response that I've gotten from the lads has been great, and we've gotten along really well.
At what point in the season could you go, okay, they're going to listen to me, they're going to buy in?
I'm not going to lie, actually, I got that in the second day of preseason. So the first day of preseason, I ran the session, and I was not nervous, but I was a little bit skeptical of how the guys would respond. And then after the session, I walked away, and I picked apart my session notes, and I thought, maybe I could work on this, and I could have done this better. And then after the second day, I could see that the guys were really receptive to what I was coaching to, and there was no tension or anything like that. So after the second day in preseason, I was good with it, and they were good with it as well.
Dave, I don't want to steal your floor. I know you kept trying to jump in a couple times, cutting you up. But one more question for him.
Man, you're good. There's no floor. You're good.
I don't want. This is your show.
You got it.
So when you're playing soccer, or when you're playing a sport, did you find it benefited having a younger coach, or was there something that you could respect of the wisdom of maybe an older gentleman?
I think for me personally, it's not so much about age. It's how the coach actually relates to the players. So for me, I never really looked at the coach being younger or older. It's more so just how they could relate to me and how they could relate to the players. So there's coaches that I've had in the past who have been considerably older, who were able to pass down their knowledge, and they were able to pass down their knowledge and their wisdom from playing and coaching for so many years in that way. And then I've also had younger coaches who were able to tell me from their experience, and being so close in age, I was able to respect that. So for me, I never really had a preference when it came to age. I just wanted my coach to relate to me, and I've had older coaches who could do that, and I had younger coaches who could do that as well.
Dave McCaig, Alex Parr, Daniel Scarpino, co-host, soccer analyst of the Game Sports Show. Remind the listeners about the games again this weekend, where you can follow the soccer team on Facebook and social media. And then I want to jump into, another part question, your professional soccer intelligent Jack, because you know what, bringing him on as an analyst, Alex, we have to talk about Algoma U.
Got to pick the brain.
Promote Algoma U, but also people want to hear about professional soccer. We've gotten some notes this year that listeners want more soccer, especially with Scott Nason being an avid soccer fan, and yours truly not following it as much, being able not to really talk to him.
Guilty as well.
And being a sports fan and do follow it, there's different levels of sports, obviously. But in terms of going into that professional level, maybe give some reaction about the MLS or in the league, any type of European league, anything of such, just so listeners can get into that are real soccer fans.
Do you agree that Ibrahimovic is the best MLS player of all time?
Well, to the first part that you said, the games this weekend in Guelph, Ontario. Those games are going to be live streamed on the Guelph University website.
Nice. Awesome.
So the women kick off at 1 o'clock on Saturday, and the men kick off at 3. In terms of what's going forward, we host the Brock Badgers in Sault Ste. Marie at Superior Heights the following weekend. Both games are Saturday and Sunday, and that would be the 28th and 29th of September. Again, both games are at 1 and 3 at Superior Heights on Saturday the 28th and Sunday the 29th. And in terms of me talking about the game professionally, do I think Zlatan Ibrahimovic is the best MLS player of all time? I think from a quality point of view and his resume and his CV in terms of what he's accomplished, I think that you would have to say yes. A little bit older now, but he's still producing performances. He's still scoring goals. He still has the arrogance. He still has the flair. He's still absolutely brilliant. So
Dave goes, ugh, but I love it. Ibra is just such a polarizing personality where when he opens his mouth and he says something, people have their eyes glued, their ears glued on it.
Absolutely, yeah. And, when the guy came to LA, he took out a full-page ad just to say you're welcome, and it just to have that level of arrogance and knowing that what you've accomplished for your country in Sweden and what you've accomplished at the club level in Italy and England and in France. He's a world-class talent and probably of our lifetime one of the better players that we're going to see. In terms of the MLS as a whole, I would say that the league, from when we first started watching it, when TFC were in their infant stage, the league wasn't very good. And it probably was comparable to what we see now with the CPL, the Canadian Premier League, amateur level players at best. But to see where the league has gone, you're seeing now top level professionals who are coming towards the end of their career coming into the MLS. You're seeing young developing talent, not just from America or Canada, but you're seeing it from all across Europe, and players are coming in, and you're seeing quality coaches as well from Argentina and Mexico and beyond. And the league has developed so much, they've poured so much money into it, it's expanding, it's growing so much, so it's really nice to see from somewhere that's close to home. The MLS is expanding. Will it get to the point of how the Premier League is in England, or how the Bundesliga is in Germany, or Serie A in Italy? Probably not. Just because we're predominantly hockey here and things of that nature. But for where the MLS was to where they are now, from a professional standpoint, it's growing. People watch, people love it, and it just helps the game in Canada and America.
It's always entertaining to watch soccer. And it's always good. And my favorite player, Lionel Messi. No, I don't. It's a weird story as to why.
My favorite hockey player is Wayne Gretzky.
The reason why I said Messi is actually first, before I started watching soccer, I thought he was Italian. Yeah, he's Argentinian. Yeah, I don't know that. And I'm a devoted sports guy, so I started watching Barcelona, as we went to Barcelona a little bit. Yeah. And then I got into that, and I actually looked into Messi's background and realized how much I was wrong.
I like Golden State. I like the St. Louis Blues. Come on, Dave.
That's where I made an error. But, hey, I'm still loyal to Messi because he's not Messi.
That's right. He's quite tidy, isn't he?
He's quite tidy. I don't know if Alex likes the fun. I think he put the mic down. So Dave McCaig, easy. Alex Parr, Daniel Scarpino here on the Game Sports Show. Dan, thanks for coming on, pal.
No worries.
We'll be in touch. We'll be expecting your articles this upcoming weekend after the game. I know you had some more things to plug, so I want you to plug a couple more things in before you go.
Oh yeah, if anybody's looking to follow Algoma University on social media, we do have a Twitter account, Algoma University Thunderbirds, where we will tweet out the starting 11 for every game, men and women, and you can follow live stats and to-the-minute substitutions and fouls and you name it.
Wow.
We also have an Instagram account, again, Algoma University Thunderbirds, men's and women's soccer team. We also have a Facebook page, OUA Soccer, Algoma University Thunderbirds, that you can follow as well. So we are across all social media platforms if you're looking to follow us, and all home games are live streamed at Superior Heights through our Facebook page and on the OUA website through Soo Sports.
There we go.
Slap on the wrist for me. I didn't know that.
Now you know.
Yeah,
That's
now
what I
I know.
like to say. And if you didn't get that, hit pause, rewind, and keep listening to that over again, just because you have a great voice, first off.
Oh, I appreciate that.
It must be hereditary in the family.
Oh, my God.
And also, just because that's great stuff, and it's great to see Algoma's program keep ascending is the word I want to use. Dan, thanks again. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm bringing back the one and only Justin Hykel, myself, Alex, and Justin, getting into some NHL discussion.
Let's do it.
Some hockey discussion.
Let's do it. Where are these people going to go? Nowhere. They can't. They're locked in.
You're locked into hockey the game. Talk. The Twin Sault's only local regional natural sports show. You're going to hear a few commercial sponsor plugins. When we come back, you're going to hear me, Alex, and Justin. Don't go anywhere. The Game Sports Show wants to thank its original home, partner, and sponsor since 2015, Sportscenter Bar and Grill, named the Soo's best sports bar for 3 years in a row. Sportscenter Bar and Grill is located on 624 Wellington Street West in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Make sure to come on down to Sportscenter to enjoy the great atmosphere with great cold beverages available, including those delicious Molson products. Don't forget about their famous 75-cent wing nights on Wednesdays. They're truly the best wings in town. Like and follow SportsCenter on Facebook at SportsCenter SSM. We look forward to seeing you today. SportsCenter Bar and Grill, the Soo's best sports bar.
You can follow The Game Sports Show on Facebook and Instagram at The Game Sports Show.
Hi, this is Paul Maurice from the Winnipeg Jets, and you're listening to The Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to The Game Sports Show. Dave McCaig, Alex Parr, rejoined by Justin Hykel. And fellas, we got part 3 of the show. Before I go into part 3, and I saved this, you're probably wondering why I didn't talk about it at the beginning, but I didn't forget. I want to save it for this because this is absolutely hilarious, okay? I'm gonna say this flat out right now that this was released on Barstool today that Dennis Rodman is making headlines. And
I believe it was his tweet, no?
Yeah, yes. And how does Dennis Rodman make it on a tweet? Well, he is a sports figure. But let me tell you what it was. Barstool reportedly putting on that Dennis Rodman says that Madonna offered him $20 million to come get her pregnant. So he left the casino, flew right and straight to her apartment, banged her, and flew back to Vegas. Now, first off, a couple things I want to put my hand up to that for is you obviously didn't succeed.
Well, yeah.
Secondly, is this bullshit? Is he kidding? Like, what is this right now? Or is this real, do you think? Maybe we should not believe it because...
I'm going to go with not believing it. I feel like it's just somebody that used to be in the public eye a lot bigger than they are now, trying to go, but wait, I'm still relevant. I'm still here. Here's a crazy story. Yeah, now my name's everywhere. Now the people want to know about me again.
You think Madonna gave him $20 million?
No.
Like, maybe she wanted to have a basketball baby. I get it, but...
yeah,
I mean, is it going to be in the 30 for 30?
What if I told you?
Because, there's a Rodman 30 for 30.
Now, if that is true, what are you thinking? Absolute legend.
I don't know.
If it actually happened and he got $20 million to go fly out to see Madonna and do the dirty, and then he just flew back immediately to go back to Vegas and keep partying, legend status confirmed. But until there's proof, I'm not going to believe it. I'm going to be a skeptic on this one.
I mean, I'm impressed either way. Like that he's just...
I think he's just nuts and making something up.
Yeah, I mean...
Sorry, Dennis, I love you if you're listening, but I think you're kind of crazy.
People in North Korea are probably jacked.
People love him.
He's a legend there.
Oh, my God. He's just a legend, period. Okay, fellas, going to the other side of things, we get the listeners involved with a little bit of fun news. Northern Superior, don't be afraid to follow them on Facebook at Northern Superior Brewing Company, and their website's absolutely phenomenal. The Game Sports Show at The Game Sports Show for all our social media outlets as well. Listen to The Game Sports Show on thegamesportshow.com and all of our outlets. We appreciate you joining us here today for part 3 now of the show. We're going to jump in to talk about the Winnipeg Jets. Collapse of Winnipeg. Our friend Paul Maurice, listener of the show, follower, he's been on the show. Bufflin. Big Buff, Dustin Bufflin, Stanley Cup champion with the Chicago Blackhawks and former Atlanta Thrashers as well. I wanted to throw that out there for Atlanta. Yeah. And now being in Winnipeg, he's loved his time in Winnipeg. As per Rick Welth, the host of TSN 1250, Bufflin has lost his love for hockey and apparently is considering retirement. This offseason has not been the friendliness to the Winnipeg Jets. You lose Jacob Trouba. Patrick Laine and Kyle Connor still remain unsigned as well. You have Dustin Bufflin and Dmitry Kulikov as your top 2 pairing, essentially, with Josh Morrissey
being the second pairing. They got Nathan Beaulieu, you got Sammy Naku, and Neil Ponnock being there. Like, their D-core is not looking the strongest.
And you mentioned Byfuglien in that. He may not be there.
And he may not be there. Yeah. And that's also $7.6 million off the cap. Let's not forget that. There is a penalty this year that you would pay, but it would be off the books for them if that actually happened. But Dustin Byfuglien's Dustin Byfuglien. So all in all, they're up in their front and the forwards. I still like what they have up front. You know, you have Matthew Perreault, Scheifele, Wheeler, Ehlers, Brian Little, Adam Lowry, Jack Ralzovic. I'm a big fan of Ralzovic. Verslainen, you have Andrew Kopp, you have Mason Appleton. You have some good forwards up there in Winnipeg. Still missing Cal Connor and Patrick Laine in that.
Yeah, you're two huge names too. But I think if you lose even one of them, and you do lose Dustin Byfuglien, you are the most average team out there. What do? Do you dissemble your team? Do you?
They spent years disassembling through Atlanta to now.
But I don't think a D-core headed by Dmitry Kulikov and Josh Morrissey with Connor Hellebuck behind them. Hellebuck's going to have to step it up another level if they want success there.
What's to say you can't just trade Laine for defense, though?
What's going to say that? Well, you'd have to work out the trade to make sure the team would actually be able to sign him, and that would have to be done so far ahead of time. But I believe it was you actually that said on the Tuesday show that he looks happy. He looks happy over there. Does he not play in Switzerland?
Like, he doesn't look like he wants to come back. And, I mean, like, this is, I don't know if it's similar to a situation where you'd have like a younger Russian coming over being the only Russian in a locker room.
Ooh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Laine was kind of the odd man out, so to say. His personality doesn't really fit. Mm-hmm. And much like Puljujarvi in Edmonton.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, the team really, that's an extreme situation of mishandling of a player. Well, Puljujarvi's back in Europe now, and he's happy in Europe, and he's probably going to play there for a while,
I hope he lights the league up, too.
I think he's going to. Because I think Edmonton just brutally mishandled that. And
Edmonton mishandling players?
Yeah,
no.
Surprise.
Four first overall picks in 6 years. And where are they now? Yakupov. Nugent's okay, but he didn't pan out like he was supposed to.
No, I really think they kind of, again, they put him in there and said, do what you did in the OHL.
Mm-hmm.
And he had no other support. Like, no other support.
Man.
But, to back to the Patrick Laine thing, if you look at that team, where does he fit? Aside from the skill set, I mean, if you take the personality of a player and look at the rest of the roster, like, those are a lot of sandpaper, lunchbox kind of guys.
Yeah, I think Nikolai Ehlers maybe is Danish, and that might be the closest to a Finnish neighbor that he might get on that team.
But, Ehlers seems to just fit right in with everyone else.
Yeah, he does.
To me, Patrick Laine is... To me, I don't know. I could see him on the Hurricanes, but that's just a wild throwing that out there. The Hurricanes seem to have been stirring the pot all summer. So,
well, I'll put it this way: if Byfuglien decides that this is it for him, and whatever, players got to put their mental health first, do what is best for you and your family. But if Byfuglien doesn't come back, and one of Connor or Laine doesn't come back, do they make the playoffs? And if they do, what seed are they?
Yeah, they make it. Wild card.
If they do, I'd give it second wild card, but I think I think you see the ripple effect in that. I think that's going to affect the locker room. I feel like Buff's a glue guy in there.
Yep.
Yeah, but that gives a chance for other guys to step up, and Scheifele is another glue guy there, and so is Blake Wheeler.
Is on one of the best contracts.
And if Byfuglien leaves, they have draft picks. Why not throw offer sheets?
And to be honest, the team was kind of like, they inherited Byfuglien.
Yes. Yeah, he's been there since the start.
So what's to say that that's not a changing of the guard isn't a bad thing either.
Nope.
It gives some other guys a chance to have their voice.
Though, man.
100%. I'm not discounting what he brings on the ice by any means, but it gives a chance for the locker room for other guys to step up, I guess. That's no one's going to fill his. It's like if Chara ever leaves the Bruins.
And I guess if I can say it's time for somebody on the Greyhounds to step up, I should be able to say that somebody on the Winnipeg Jets can do it,
and
too.
we should see those are big losses. A lot of change in Winnipeg this year, but a lot of cap. They were in a situation where cap might be an issue. This might resolve that, and they might try to rebuild from a different way, which is not the greatest way, I will say, though. But maybe they should sit Dustin down, do what he can for his personal growth, and maybe he needs a change of scenery. Maybe a trade would be good for him to get back somewhere else he wants to be. I don't know what. A lot of teams are very hesitant of taking $7.6 million cap hits, but again, Winnipeg is in a tough spot. Ottawa Senators aren't right now in terms of, the team's rebuilding, but Thomas Chabot
And as someone in French would say, who is very French, Thomas Chabot is what it should be
Would they say that?
So an 8
Dave does.
by 8 with the Ottawa Senators this year, or for upcoming years. Very good deal for Chabot. If he continues to go the way that he is, that's a steal.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the makings of an absolute elite, puck-moving, great two-way defenseman. I love Thomas Chabot. As much as I have friends that like the Senators a lot, so I got to poke jabs at them where I can. This Chabot deal makes so much sense, and I think it sets a precedent that Leafs fan hat coming on didn't get set when their big guys signed. Chabot now can move forward with the team that's rebuilding, say, hey, I've been here through the bad times. I signed a decent deal for the team that's a little bit more manageable, because if he does pan out and gets to that level he's supposed to, you can work with that. 8 in 7 years is going to be nothing. Players at his skill level will be making upwards of 10 at that point, so 8 will be great. It'll be something like the McKinnon contract is right now.
McKinnon, the best defensive contract in the league is Noah Hanifin, in my opinion, and Nathan McKinnon's got to be the best forward contract.
Oh, without a doubt.
Morgan Riley might be the top for a good contract hit as well, if you want to go that route.
I feel bad for McKinnon almost right now, though.
The guy could be making absolute bank.
Yeah.
Like $12 million.
Like that's a good soldier right there.
That's double what he's making now.
Like there's some guys in the NFL that could take some notes from him.
Quick things, fellas. Toronto Maple Leafs now signed a second-round pick, Nicholas Robinson, to a 3-year entry-level contract. He was taken 53rd overall in the OHL draft out of Peterborough Petes this past June. Robinson's 18 years old, 27 goals, 20 assists, 54 games with the Petes last year, and 116 OHL games. Robertson has 42 goals and 46 assists. Robinson was a participant in Leafs training camp, but he resigned back to the Petes on Sunday, so he'll be back with them, which I think is obviously a good move for the Maple Leafs organization. I like the kid. He's got some good heart, and it's never a bad idea to have someone with heart on your team.
He was amazing throughout the rookie tournament. He was fantastic. I followed the Leafs all the way through, and it seemed every night, Robertson, a goal, 2 goals, goal, 2 goals. I really wanted to see him in a preseason game so badly, but no point in rushing a guy that's still got a couple years left in the O. And now the Peterborough Petes are marked on my calendar for when they come play the Greyhounds.
Get to see a Leaf prospect there for sure. Connor Brown and Tyler Ennis get impacts in the Senators' 4-3 win over the Leafs in the preseason. Leafs lose both in the preseason start to the Ottawa Senators. Funny thing that I picked out of both games, because this is just the preseason players are getting in the way. Austin Matthews decides to make headlines and looks on Sabrin's back of his jersey and looks over and to see who he is. In the mimic that, who the hell do you think you are?
No, I was dying. I saw that
hilarious.
Today. I mean, he had 2 goals last night. Like,
savage, absolute savage. I think it's hilarious.
And that mustache.
I saw people in the comments going, well, that's not very captain-like. Yeah, do you think Daniel Alfredson mocking Sundin throwing his stick into the audience wasn't very captain-like? No, it wasn't. But guess what? This is entertainment. I like to laugh. I like to enjoy what I'm watching. And that
Did anyone record what Sabrin said? Did everyone think of that? Maybe he called him some names, and Matthews didn't retaliate. He went, oh, yeah. Just give him a little reminder. What he did, that was a little reminder. Saying you're trying to make the squad, you're making it this way, you're not going to make it, pal. That's if you play that way.
Well, honestly, that's Matthews has earned his keep in the league.
Oh, yeah.
So
and his money.
You don't like it? Beat him.
Yeah, no. The Leafs are the puck drop for the year, man. It's just after October, and it's going to be exciting. Bring up quickly Mitch Marner's contract again. Justin, you weren't involved in the conversation. Actually, myself, Anthony, and Alex. And the captain scenario, I'm going to give you the floor on this quickly. Mitch Marner's contract with your reaction inside, and do you think Matthews would be a good captain if he is announced captain?
The
right choice.
I mean, the Marner contract thing is... It's kind of exhausting. It's been a really tough summer.
Oh, my goodness.
In regards to that. I mean, after last summer with the Nylander thing. Like, there's a watch. There's always a watch. Kawhi watch. Marner watch. Nylander. You know what I mean?
The summer's
John
a bad
Tavares
time.
watch. It was an exhausting period of time. It's a big number. Don't get me wrong, but right now, and in my opinion on this, right now the number looks terrifying. But if the cap rises... Because, I mean, if you look 6-7 years ago, some of those other contracts players were getting signed to that were still a huge percentage of the cap, but equate now to $8 million that look reasonable. You know what I mean? Like the percentage to cap thing, I think, as long as the cap rises, works out for us, especially because I think these deals are mostly front-loaded.
Yeah, something is only worth as much as someone will pay for it.
Yeah.
Marner could have gotten more if you want to sign an offer sheet. So is it a little overspending on a winger? This year, yes. 2 years from now, probably not. 4 years from now, probably definitely not.
That's exactly it. I mean, if 5 years from now, players are going to be getting $15, $20 million a year, because I don't think that's far-fetched. I really don't. No. Because a couple of years ago, $4.5 or $5 million for Morgan Riley was like, that's kind of a lot of money.
Obviously not.
So that worked out. As far as the captain and Matthews, I think shouldering some extra responsibility on him, I think he's been asking for it. I honestly think he was asking for it in the playoffs last year. And I think the coaching staff showing that faith in him, especially having some new coaches there to maybe shake Babcock loose a little bit.
I would have liked to see Riley. I hope Riley gets to see. That's where I want to go with that. I want the drama to be pulled away from Marner, Tavares, and Matthews, the pressure and everything.
But does Riley want it? That's the thing.
Maybe. Why wouldn't he? He loves that pressure.
You are in the number one hockey city in the entire world, where media absolutely eats up anything they can to. There's nothing left. Maybe that's why Riley wouldn't want it.
Everybody really likes him there.
I like Riley, and
you don't really see Toronto media shitting all over him.
He'd be my 1B pick to my Austin Matthews 1. I said it on the show Tuesday. When Austin Matthews was drafted, there was a culture change immediately. They changed the logo. They got new coaches. They got new management.
Identity changed.
The identity changed the day Matthews was drafted, and he was just.
And I really think that the Leafs and Dubas have done a really good job of surrounding him with people that can help him be and grow as a leader. Because he's not. I'm not saying he has all the intangibles of an NHL captain. He just doesn't have the season. He doesn't have the games. Mm-hmm. That's a fact. That's one of the things we're looking at. But he's got these guys that have played X amount of games. He's got these Riley's been through the shitstorm with the Toronto Maple Leafs, so he's got a pile of experience to lean on. I think that locker room is more so a team. I mean, not to sound cheesy, but they're a team. They're not.
Very deep team, too.
Everyone seemed genuinely concerned that Marner wasn't there. Now Marner's back, and every interview is a lot more upbeat and more positive. And
he wasn't not missing a game.
And there's a sense of security with those guys, too. They're there. That's their, they've moved in. That's their, we're here for a while.
And that's the whole
sitting on the couch in their underpants, kind of comfortable.
Couple more things, fellas. I know you guys got to go, but we have two more topics I'm going to bring up. Was last season a fluke for the Habs, or will they come back strong again this year? Was the topic that there's some fans wanting me to address with Montreal. We can't get to every Canadian team today, but we will do that before season starts. I promise you that. So covering our area teams per se. Montreal came out as a surprise last year. Very hardworking, very fast, very dominant in the offensive zone in terms of forecheck or grinding on the boards, forechecking systems. It was a well-played team, I thought. And Carey Price looked back to normal. And Max Domi fits in perfectly there, which hurts me. You see Ty Domi wearing a Montreal jersey now. Really hurts.
Ooh, I can taste the salt when I watch those videos.
Oh, I don't like it. I don't think it was a fluke. I think Montreal is going to have another good season.
I think it was a fluke, and I don't think Montreal's season last year was as good as you're saying it was. If you don't make the playoffs,
that's a good point. But they weren't even expected to be close to the playoffs.
Well, when your top two forwards are Max Domi and Jonathan Drouin, should you really expect to make the playoffs? I mean, their forward depth is
maybe that's why they played so good, because of the no pressure.
I mean, no pressure, right? And I feel like that's exactly what got Vegas into the Stanley Cup Finals when they did it.
Team
no
a second
pressure.
Chance, man.
Right? But I don't know. Can you name me anybody in Montreal's bottom six or bottom four in defense? That's what I thought.
Top of my head, probably not.
I personally think it was a bit of a fluke. And if it wasn't a fluke, the book's out on them. Everyone knows what they're going to do. I mean, the roster didn't change a whole heck of a lot through the summer. And to be completely honest, the expectations in Montreal last year were absolute rock bottom. No one was expecting anything, and Jonathan Drouin and Max Domi and, supporting cast all kind of rallied together, and they had a great season. Now let's see 20 games into the season where they've won 5 of them, and let's see how all those guys are doing with their adoring fans in the streets and everything else.
And there's 2 different Carey Prices we can get.
Montreal is just as bad of a meat grinder as Toronto is.
Yeah.
As far as treatment to their players, and now there's a certain level of expectation going into the season.
Love that. Mm-hmm. Love the Montreal, I think.
Sorry, Montreal fans.
I thought that was a pretty good opinion. It's usually because I, shit all over the Habs and just say no. My answer is yes or no when
Very
it comes to
in-depth
that.
analysis. I really think the Habs are a tough team, and I think Ottawa has an opportunity to be spoilers this year because I think they have a team that's pesky as well, but not a playoff team, obviously, in Ottawa. And Artemi Panarin leaves after 12 minutes and gets a goal in his first preseason game.
Injured. Don't know the severity of it.
Nope. Might be just a precaution.
Definitely just a precaution. I feel like if it was something major, we would know.
Yeah.
Maybe
he is going to be relaxing, taking a break. They paid a lot of money for that guy. The Rangers have Capo Caco, who looks phenomenal.
Yeah, he looked pretty good.
Oh, yeah. This kid's going to be special. This kid is going to be special. Capo and Panarin together. New York is trying to piece something together there. They actually used a draft pick.
Whoa.
They always trade draft picks before, but now they're starting to show that they have a little bit of capability of grooming that on the inside, and it's going to be very exciting to see what they do. My only question is for Ranger fans, will Henrik Lundqvist retire a Ranger?
Oh, 100%. Please, Henrik, please retire as a Ranger. I love you so much.
Well, why wouldn't it happen that way?
It'd be like watching Cam Ward in a Chicago jersey. It'd be like Martin Brodeur in a St. Louis Blues jersey. Gross.
Sundin playing for the Canucks.
Oh, yeah, gross.
That one burned.
Imagine if Steve Yzerman went somewhere else. This doesn't make sense.
No, you can't.
Peyton Manning on the Broncos.
He's the king of New York. Stay there, run it out. You came so close to that Stanley Cup. He's going to go down as one of the greatest players that have never won a Stanley Cup.
I feel like he's just going to turn into a professional tennis player.
I feel like he's going to be a model.
He looks.
He's modeling. That guy's gorgeous.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Like I give credit where it's due. And
that guy's hair, man.
Best flow.
I am envious of his hair.
Mm-hmm.
Dave McCaig, Alex Parr, Justin Hykel said North Superior Brewing Company. This is the Game Sports Show. Listen to the show on thegamesportshow.com, gamesportshow.podbean.com, or through our multiple social media and media outlets and partners, including ESPN 1400 and Soo Online on TV. Boys, it's been great talking to you guys.
It's been great
we
talking
are
to you.
still awaiting Primo's arrival. I know he did text me saying he's going to be a little bit late, so hopefully he does make it on time prior to our next start getting going, or else I'm going to have to jump into that solo. But hopefully when I come back from break, Primo's all set, ready to go here. So I want to say thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Dave.
I want to say thank you, Justin.
Dave.
And we'll all be in touch this weekend. I know you're going to be on location, Alex, with the Soo Greyhounds.
Yes, sir. Friday and
Justin,
Saturday.
I know
I'm around.
You're around this weekend as well. Myself, I also have some commitments this weekend, so I know the on-location stuff will be with my analysts and everything this weekend, which I appreciate you guys doing. But we're going to be everywhere this weekend. Soo College, can't forget, Soo Thunderbirds. The Eagles and Beavers will also be covering as well, all the local teams. The Soo Greyhounds home opener as well. Algoma University, Thunderbirds soccer. Daniel Scarpino will be on location getting all that covered and sending us reports at the end of weekend report that you can check on thegamesportshow.com, the Game Sports Show on Facebook and Instagram. Justin, we will see you next week, otherwise outside this weekend. And hopefully I see you Saturday, my friend.
I'll be around. Like I
see you Saturday night.
I don't got much going on.
Even Alex, I see you guys Saturday night.
Packed up most of my belongings, so I've got to go out of my house and use other people's belongings.
It'd be good. And then I'll see for Showwise Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll be back Wednesday and Thursday. You'll be Thursday for sure next week.
I won't be far away.
You won't be far away at all. Bellas, thanks again for coming on by. It's Dave McCaig. Letting Alex and Justin go. When we come back, hopefully Matt Premo is sitting across from me, and we can start talking some local football in the pocket. If not, it'll be me taking it underway. Be right back after these messages.
This is Andy Frost, and you are tuned into the only regional sports show in the Twin Saults, the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show, the Twin Saults' only local, regional, and national sports show. It's your host, David McCaig. We said goodbye to Alex and to Justin and earlier to Daniel Scarpino, but I got my other good friend, my other good co-host, my other good analyst, just an all-around good guy right here now here inside the Northern Superior, inside the tap room. Different location for this guy, but Matt Premo, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, good. First time here for me. It's nice in here. It looks good.
It is.
I didn't know where to go in, but I figured it out, and I got a beer, so we're good.
That's good. Hefeweizen beers with myself and Premo are having here, courtesy of Blake Winter here of Northern Superior Brewing Company. Delicious beer, and he's brewing something magical in the back. Can't get into that, though. That's some top secret stuff going on there. Preems, we talked a lot of sports here on the beginning of the show, local, from hockey to soccer. We talked professional to hockey and everything. But we did not have a show last night from Sportscenter Bar and Grill's, last minute cancellation on my behalf due to going to the Dean Brody Dallas Smith concert. So we pushed that Wednesday show to next week. So we decided to combine the criteria and content, not let's say the amount of time, because that's usually an hour and a half show, and this is usually an hour and a half show, so 3 hour show is not really in our docket. But we made sure we brought the In the Pocket segment over to here today because we had to make sure we get to talk about high school football and NFL football going into week 3. So I'm going to let you kick off In the Pocket here and go into the local recap. You had the Cora Junior Colts defeating the White Pines Junior team last week, 28-0. The St. Mary's team defeated 25-23 over Superior Heights. Myself and Scott talked about it on Wednesday on ESPN 1400. There's just more games coming up this weekend. The Cora seniors were in Escanaba. We don't have to get into it too much, as that is last week's news, as people would say. But we want to do a quick minute reaction about that, and then go into what's going on this week in high school football.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a tight game here locally in town, Superior Heights, St. Mary's. I think it's just going to prove that's going to be a tight loop this year with the 3 teams. Unfortunately, only 3 teams without White Pine having a senior team, but the score 25-23. Looks like all the teams are pretty well even. Some big games last week. Nick Pagnotta threw for 3 touchdowns, which surprised a lot of people. He's more of a running type quarterback. He's our running back in the summer for the SaberCats. I think he has a little bit of an injury right now, but hopefully the bye week coming up for St. Mary's helps him get rested up, and he's good to go for later in the season. Another big game from one of our players in the summer. Unfortunately, he was injured most of the summer, but it looks like he's healthy. Rushed for 200 yards. Mitchell Deldova had a big game. But St. Mary's was able to lock in the win. They were up a couple touchdowns early, and Superior Heights showed their resilience, and they battled back, which is good to see. So it's going to make for some exciting football. Cora, they had a bye week last week, but on the bye week, Coach Anna was able to schedule a game with Escanaba, who's one of the top teams in the Upper Peninsula, if not the top team in the Upper Peninsula. Yep. So it was a great test for Cora last week. Score wasn't what we would like, but we battled hard. It's a little bit different rules when you play in the States. For those of you guys that don't know, one less player, different motion rules, smaller field. So there was some adjusting for us to do, but our defense played well and battled really hard. And their coach had some great things to say about the toughness of our team, which is always nice to hear. As we mentioned, coming up this week, again, with a tight loop, every game's huge. Playing each team twice, you don't want to drop any of these contests because first-place team's going to get a bye to the finals this year in the senior high school loop. So, yeah, Cora's going to be facing off against Superior Heights. It's kind of built into a rivalry over the last couple of years. These have been kind of the 2 top teams for a while now, since I've been helping out at Cora anyway. So we can expect a hard-fought game. They got some good coaches over there. One of our members of our staff at Cora and SaberCats in the summer, he left and went over to Superior Heights. He's defensive coordinator, Christian Mahler, and they got Paul Orzetti helping out there, who was former offensive coordinator, special teams coordinator out at UBC. He's back in the Soo, athletic director now at Sault College, and I've heard some good things. He's doing some good things over there. Their numbers are low, but they're going to be well coached, and they're going to put up a good fight. So looking forward to see what they bring to the table on Friday, and expecting a good game.
It's going to be the high school football senior. It's unfortunate about White Pines and the senior aspect. And to be honest, going forward in the future in the Soo with some things expanded in town, I think hopefully one day we can get back to what it used to be back when we were younger, per se. I know that's maybe kind of a stretch, but hopefully White Pines get back to getting into the program. The junior having a team is positive, despite the Cora 28-0. It could have arguably been more, obviously, in the game, if we're going to speak honestly. But overall, just the competitiveness in the league between especially Cora, Marys, and Superior Heights and the senior program is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty well balanced. And if you look, like Cora's won the championship the last couple of years, but before that, it was Superior Heights had a good run, and before that, St. Mary's had a long run. Yep. So it kind of rotates, and right now it's pretty balanced. And whoever comes out of the Soo always has a great chance of winning their OFSA game or NASA. Yep. We have great football talent here in the Soo, and we show that in the summer when we compete on a provincial level. And it's nice to see the competitiveness. And right now I'm at Cora, and we've seen that our program's going in the right direction. But the toughest games are always played locally when you're a Soo team, and the toughness in the city and the caliber of football players is as good as anywhere in the province, and it's good to see a tight loop. It would be nice to have one more team to balance out that schedule, play everyone twice, have a six game regular season. Yep. Losing that other team, it hurts, but hopefully they can get it figured out there, White Pines and the junior team, with the numbers they have right now, if they can hold on and those players can move up to graduate up to senior and develop the program. It'd be great to see. I mean, that's my old high school. I went there, and I would love to see them come back around and get their football teams come back to where they used to be. And I mean, a couple years after I left, they were playing for state championships, so hopefully they can get back to that. But we'll see. It's hard when the numbers are low. We've talked about this a couple times. Enrollment's down there, but yep. So we'll see. Hopefully they can get it back. But I mean, football is healthy and doing well in Sault Ste. Marie, even though we're down a team in the senior loop.
a lot of local sports in town. The people that know of in the Game Sports Show is going to be there to bring you everything. We're actually partners with all the local teams. Every team that you can think of locally, the Game Sports Show will be there to cover, and especially soccer. And I got to give credit to the Algoma University and the Soo College programs for what they're doing with their athletics, and obviously the Tommy Ant, the Cora program. Everything is just blooming and blossoming here in Soo, Ontario. So that's been the high school aspect in terms of previous. But this upcoming weekend, just if you can remind listeners, Primo, about what's coming this weekend for football.
Tomorrow night, St. Mary's has the bye this week, but we got Superior Heights facing off against Cora in the senior loop, 7 o'clock, or 7:30 actually, Superior Heights. The juniors will be playing before that, so get out, support. It's a great football. There's some great athletes, and I always say this, come out and support these guys because they deserve it. They put a lot of hard work in the off season, year round. Like, they're playing in the summer, they're working out in the off season, and we're sending 4 or 5 guys every year to get scholarships from our high school football loop. So it's pretty impressive, the caliber that we have locally here, and hopefully we can keep breeding more, and definitely deserve everyone's support.
Definitely, with individuals like yourself and Tommy Ann at Beat at the Helm, it's good people doing their volunteer hours there, putting in and devoting their time into their passion. Coaches all starts from that end of the programs. Definitely kudos to everything going on there. So it's a reminder going on this weekend. Make sure you check out. There's a lot going on this weekend. Got high school football. Yeah, the Soo Greyhounds home opener. Yeah, the Soo College tailgate. First homecoming for Soo College. Algoma University has games you can browse online through Guelph. There's a lot going on, especially locally in sports and obviously professional in sports as well as football every Sunday. The Blue Jays are still playing. There's just still lots going on. So make sure you check everything out as best as you can. If you have any issues or questions, reach out to me or anyone here on the Game Sports Show through our Facebook page, and we will direct you to any schedules, needs, or concerns.
Before we go, actually, St. Mary's isn't on bye this week. I forgot. They're actually playing an exhibition game as well.
Okay.
There's a football team, St. Joan of Arc, is coming from Barrie actually to play locally against St. Mary's.
Okay.
The game time of that is going to be, I think it's at 12 noon on Saturday. The coach from St. Joan of Arc in Barrie, he's actually originally from Sault Ste. Marie, and they have a really good team. Just about every year they're going to one of the bowl games, so it'll be a great test for St. Mary's. That'll be a good one to check out. I'm definitely going to try and pop in and check that one out. I saw that on the schedule a couple weeks ago, and I just slipped my mind, but it should be a good test, and it'd be interesting to see where they stack up because that team from Barrie is one of the top in the province.
See, that's good to see this competition come up. You had Escanaba Mary's, has Barrie. It's great to see to have that.
That's the one thing that these bye weeks will allow with one short team is you can schedule these games against teams in the States. You can schedule top games in the province. We had some teams from Southern Ontario that were looking to play us this year, just didn't work into our schedule, and obviously travel is a big thing. But this St. Joan of Arc team that's coming up from Barrie, it'll be a great game. Interested to see how that one pans out.
Definitely, to make sure you follow any of the social media programs, the football programs, or anything locally as well, especially with Cora at Cora Football. Does a fantastic job on Instagram. Preems, we're going to move on to the National Football League with our In the Pocket segment here. A couple things we're going to get to. Antonio Brown, Week 2, brief reaction. We know Week 3 is starting tonight as we're speaking right now, so not too much, but just some maybe reaction for the both of us quickly, as we didn't get to too much on Tuesday. And then Week 3 predictions all around. We are not including Titans and Jacksonville right now in our predictions because Jacksonville is up 14-0 before the end of the first quarter right now. And me having Derrick Henry in my fantasy is not looking great tonight so far, but while we're speaking, we're not going to pick between the Jags or Titans in our predictions, so make sure you stand by for those predictions from the Game Sports Show panel. Now, also people are going to ask, well, where's Jamie Antonello? Listen, I told you last Wednesday, and I've said it again, Jamie Antonello is a key contributor and partner to the show. He has moved out of town. He is still involved. He was supposed to be on this week, but we're still working out the Skype issues. And usually from Sportscenter, we have the Skypes all arranged. So when we're here at Northern, it altered this week's plans. We hope Jamie can be on next Wednesday, the latest the following Wednesday. We don't want to get him on too late mid-range in the season. You know how much he wants to be on the show. Even if we have to do a pre-recording somewhere else, we will make sure that gets arranged so Jamie's voice is heard next week. I couldn't make sure I can forget not talk about Antonello Preems.
Yeah, he's doing great things. Super excited for him down at helping coach at the University of Windsor.
Yep.
He's fitting right in. He hit the ground running. From what I've heard, he's doing a lot. He's contributing a lot to the program already, and it's great to see.
That's his niche right there.
It's great to see. Hopefully we get him back next summer.
Yeah.
He's my right-hand man, and obviously we miss him on the podcast, but I'll miss him even more in the summer on the sideline. So kudos to him, though, pursuing that passion of his, and from all I hear, he's doing a great job down there.
He has a lot of, as you can check him out on Instagram, he has some good uploads there
there as well. We're going on to the National Football League. Antonio Brown loses his Nike deal, Preems, okay? Brown signed with the Patriots on September 7th, hours after being released by the Oakland Raiders. Days after Brown joined New England, okay, a lawsuit was filed by one of his former trainers in Florida, accusing the 31-year-old of sexual assault. Now, there's been more that have surfaced. Him farting on people, I believe, is one as well.
Yeah, I think that was his doctor, but the doctor seemed cool with it from what I...
Yeah, and then the emails going back and forth, it makes him seem like he doesn't have beyond elementary school intelligence. Sorry, no offense, elementary school, to same tier level of education, rather, is what I meant. But all in all, everything coming out with Antonio Brown this year, okay? Sources told the Associated Press, okay, this is quote, and we don't use too many quotes on here from direct because we're not a non-scripted show, but I got to use this one. He said, Brown was not placed on the commissioner's exempt list and can therefore continue to play because no criminal charges have been filed against him because the NFL hadn't fully developed its investigation. Now, last I checked, getting allegations of sexual assault, you had some players who abused their significant others, and they were effective immediately. It wasn't even a thought. Now, this is kind of different, obviously, because of the circumstances, but Brown, are you surprised he's still playing?
I'm not surprised he's still playing. Those other instances, I think they're a little bit different. There was video evidence of those ones. So that, basically the NFL is able to see video evidence of these assaults.
And it's released to the public.
And it's released. So they took action quickly. I think this one, they're just doing their due diligence. They want to make sure that all these accusations are in fact true. They have to, right? If they went and jumped forward and suspended them without doing their due diligence and their investigation, then they're liable to get fined by Antonio Brown in return. So they're going to do their due diligence and look into these, and they'll investigate them, and they'll work with where I think this was filed in Florida and the courts in Florida and see if there's any truth to these matters. Like I said last week, I think you just got to wait and see how this one plays out. I'm not surprised with the endorsements.
Nike, he's losing things left and right now.
Nike, it was Zenith. They had a helmet deal with Zenith, and that whole thing was going on. I think it was a publicity stunt, but lost Zenith. Now losing Nike. Not surprising. This guy's antics.
It's becoming a problem.
Yeah, he seems to be fitting in right now. He had a touchdown last week with the Patriots. He's fitting in there, but what he's doing on social media, these accusations, not surprising. Nike doesn't want to tie themselves to someone like that.
Nope.
So not surprising. Nike has LeBron James. They got all the big names. They don't need someone to cause a headache and be attached to someone like Antonio Brown. Like I said, I wouldn't want to be a teammate of his, and apparently Nike doesn't want to be a teammate of his either. So it's not surprising.
It's almost good riddance if you're a Steeler fan. It almost is.
I would,
despite the
you have to think that you just dodged a huge headache this year. They did the right thing by moving them, and luckily you didn't have to go through what the Raiders went through to start the season, and now all the media that's surrounding them right now. So I'd be happy by the Steelers fan. Obviously not happy with the 0-2 start.
Yep.
But you didn't have to deal with that headache, and who knows if it would have made a difference anyway if you had him on your team.
Antonio Brown was obviously covered in Pittsburgh, and someone had let him go, and now he's been exposed. They kept him contained. Bill Belichick's going to have to do some magic in there to keep him contained.
And I think he's going to fall into place in New England. That's the type of place New England is. You can't not fall in place there. They have structure. Yeah, they'll cut him loose, and I think he knows that. I think when you build a reputation that New England has, when players go there, they fall in line, and it starts with Belichick, Brady, and the way they do their business.
Edelman.
Yeah, Edelman, and the way they go about their business. It's a business-like mentality. They talk about it all the time. It may not be the most fun place to play, but you win, and in the end, winning is a lot of fun.
Gronk will be back week 10, my prediction. Moving forward, week 2, just brief reaction. Ben Roethlisberger going down. It's been the season of injuries. That's my quick tidbit that I want to put. A lot of injuries have happened to a lot of teams. Obviously, big loss for Pittsburgh. Trading for Fitzpatrick on the Dolphins, get rid of a first-round pick. Kind of invested. You don't know where that pick was going to be this year. It's about the way they're going. They're really entrusting into Mason Rudolph. I kind of would have liked them to see if give Bradford a chance as backup to Mason Rudolph in case something happens to Mason. I feel like there's some potential there for still to make some good run at a wild card. I think Baltimore is on a certain level this year, and the Browns are bound to bounce back and keep going. So it's going to be a tough year for Steelers, and that's me taking off my host hat, put my Steeler fan hat on for a second. But just just a tidbit, seeing Brown in New England too, it is fitting fine. When you have Tom Brady throwing you the football and you have Bill Belichick calling the plays with Brady, you're going to be fine. You're going to fit in well. At the end of the day, all in all in football, my disappointment going into week 2 just all around is the injuries that are occurring. And I lost in fantasy last week for the first time this year, so I'm 1-1, so that sucks. Primo?
Yeah, my fantasy week was great. I put up the most points in our league. It might be the most points. I had New England's defense, though, so they put up like 33, so that might have helped. Yeah, injuries are part of the game. I mean, it's something with football that you kind of get used to. They're going to happen, right? It's such a violent sport. I think what we're seeing here early on is the big name guys that are kind of going down, the quarterbacks, the Drew Breeses.
Yes.
Drew Brees, the Ben Roethlisbergers, these guys that are going down with injuries. I mean, you got the mono with the Jets quarterback, and the, kind of these weird things going on, and some younger guys that are stepping up and having to be thrown into Nick Foles with his collarbone. You got Gardner Minshew playing tonight, and right now he's 7 for 8 with a QB rating of 150, which is awesome. So yeah, you get these injuries, and when they happen to high-profile players, you kind of bring it to the forefront and what everyone's talking about right now. But it's a huge part of the game, and that's why depth is so important in football, because next man up's got to be ready to go.
Yeah, that's what I like about the Mason Rudolph thing too. The guy actually has a wicked arm for.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how he does. He's going to get his opportunity. I mean, Ben's not going to be around forever, so who's your next guy? Is it Mason Rudolph? Or
3 years a big commitment for Ben though.
Or yeah, I mean he expects to play 2 more years. I was surprised when I found out about the injury. I know he had 2 more years on his contract, but I was like, hey, this might be the end. It might be the end. So you got to find out, is Mason Rudolph your guy? And this is a good opportunity to figure that out. If he's not your guy, there's 3 quarterbacks in this year's draft coming up that are going to be studs. And if Mason Rudolph,
first round pick though,
you might not be able to get one of those guys. You may be able to get back into the first round and pick one of them up. You never know.
Yeah.
But they give up their first round pick, and the way things are going right now, it could be a high pick. But Fitzpatrick himself, he was an 11th overall pick, and you've seen tape on him, so you know what you're getting.
Yep.
You know he's a stud.
Yep.
So you never know what you're going to get with a draft pick. I mean, you can do all the scouting you want, but in the end, a draft pick is still kind of, sometimes it's a shot in the dark, and you're hoping that they're going to be pan out, right? So I mean, go back to Pittsburgh. Their defense right now is loaded with first round draft picks. So if they can figure out on the offense side of the ball, I mean, their defense isn't probably playing up to what their expectation would be with all those first round picks, but they're low with first round picks in there, and you know these guys are solid NFLers. So if they can figure it out on offense, and they'll figure it out this year if Rudolph's their guy or not. If not, they got to find a way to get in the first round to get one of those quarterbacks.
You do, because that's going to be rough. The Bradford thing just kind of makes sense, but we're going to move on from that's another topic. The Lions, undefeated in regulation, too, had a good win against the Chargers last week, so congratulations to Lions fans. They're pretty excited.
I like how you put that undefeated.
Yeah, Scott. I want to do that for Scott Nason and Butch Davis. You know, they're living a high right now, and I know the other teams that are living pretty high are the Packers fans right now, let me tell you. Moving on, though. Okay, we got a little bit more time here, about 10 minutes left here. We're going to extend this segment a little bit, obviously, because they're in the pocket from Wednesday. So currently, right now, Preems, we're hitting the 19-minute mark. We do have until the 30-minute mark, so we'll do our best to keep on our time constraints here. So about 10 more minutes left on the show before we go to our conclusion from another action-packed show, as always. Week 3, okay? Before we get into our predictions, Justin Hykel did send me his predictions. I'm not counting the Titans, as I mentioned, because he did say the Titans are going to win, who are down right now. So, at least he picked fairly there. But at the end of the day, we're not going to count that because you and I are picking right now, and I would probably influence to take the Jags, to be totally honest with you, and I don't want to do that. But going into Week 3, what are you expecting the most out of Week 3? What is your expectation for Week 3?
Well, you're looking at the matchups, and there's kind of doesn't look like that many good games. A lot of games you would expect to go one way, and one of them is going to go the opposite way. There's going to be an upset this week, and you don't know where it's going to be. There's some backup quarterbacks playing. That New Orleans Saints Seattle game's interesting to me. Teddy Bridgewater, does he come out and like throw the lights out? I mean, he was a solid quarterback when he was in Minnesota before his injury. There was high hopes for him, and then he decided to stay in New Orleans and be a backup there to Drew Brees and buy his time there. Does he come out? And today, Sean Payton said they're going to use him and Taysom Hill. So what's that going to look like? That'll be an interesting game. But yeah, some games that you would expect to go one way. Now Carolina doesn't look like they're going to have Cam to play, and the spread on that switched over. The Cardinals are favored now.
See, and if you have Fitzgerald or Kirk, which I do in my fantasy, but they've been sitting on my bench the last couple of weeks. But those are some impressive wide receivers out there. Murray's looking like he's fitting in well. And, yeah, I couldn't agree more that there was not a lot of games that really picking up this week. I think there is going to be an upset this week. I'll tell you what that is after. There's going to be an upset, and there's going to be a blowout. I'm going to be honest right now. The blowout's going to be the Patriots and Jets game, I still think. But the one game I got my on is the Lions and Eagles. That's not my game of the week, but Lions and Eagles, I'm very interested in that matchup. The Lions hoping to continue their strong season. But Preems, we don't have Jamie to attest or Justin to defend anything in terms of their opinion, so it's going to be you and me doing predictions tonight. And we're going to go back and forth about who goes first because everyone thinks I might go off Primo on his picks. I don't want to do that. So currently right now, Preems, we're going to jump into going into Week 3 predictions and give your quick reaction about the game if you'd like, or if this is your game of the week. I'm going to mention my game of the week or snoozer of the week if you'd like. So going into the first game, I'm not going Titans-Jags, obviously. I'm going to go Dolphins-Cowboys, and it's a pretty simple decision for me here. I got to pick the Cowboys. Preems?
Yeah, 21-point spread here. I think that's an easy one.
200 yards?
But what is interesting about this game, Rosen just announced today, Rosen's getting the start. So the Dolphins traded for Rosen from Arizona. They obviously went and got Cal Murray. They traded Rosen over to Miami.
Yeah.
So let's see what he has. I mean, the thing that sucks is he has no supporting cast, and right now the Dolphins are just loading up on first-round draft picks for the next couple of years.
Yeah,
so, and everyone kind of wants out of there, but I mean, it's one of those things. They're rebuilding. If you're going to commit to rebuilding, this is what you do. You absolutely get as many draft picks as you can, and you sell the farm, and you just look for the future.
Tank?
You're tanking, yeah. You're tanking. I mean, I know there's pride in the locker room, so these guys are going to compete. Like Jalen Rams in his interview this week, all he wants to do is win, right? And right now they're winning. Obviously, they're going to still go and compete because these guys are competitors, and that's why they've made it to the NFL.
They might not even trade them.
So they're going to compete, but they just don't have the players there right now to do it in Miami. But I mean, I think they're doing it the right way. Like, this has worked for any other organizations, not necessarily football. You haven't seen it quite the way that Miami's doing it for football, but basketball, they do this. You see hockey teams do this. They load up on picks. They wait if they know they're not going to compete, and then they load up and they get a bunch of players. And if the majority of those players pan out, you'll see them in the playoffs in a couple years. Yep. You look at the age of football players, it's a young man's game.
Yes, it is.
So if you load up on these young drafts, it doesn't take as long as some of these other sports, right? Where you see your dividends pay off of these draft picks. So I think that they're expecting to compete sooner than people think, and obviously not this year. We know that, but
10,000 to 1 odds to win this year.
I'm not taking that.
Does anyone put $1 down?
No. Yeah, maybe to make the playoffs, but that's not going to happen either.
No.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see what Rosen has to offer. I mean, it's going to be tough when you're not surrounded by elite talent. It's hard to produce, right? But it'll be interesting to see nonetheless. And hey, We'll see if they can cover the spread. That might be more interesting than who's going to win the game.
I think so. The game. Like that. Good pun. Dave McCaig, Matt Premo, Northern Spirit Tavern doing our predictions. Antonio Brown will be a Dolphin next year, in my opinion. That's my guess. He won't stay in New England. But moving on from that, Bengals-Bills. I'm going to go first again here, okay? I'm going to go with the Bills. And the reason why I'm going Bills is I'm not sold on Dalton. I'm not sold on Cincinnati. The Steelers do need to catch a break and hopefully get a win this week. And pardon me, with the Bengals losing, that would help their cause trying to get back and salvage this season. So there's a lot of reasons why, but my fan hat on it and my host hat is think the Bills are actually a surprising better team. I'm honestly saying that.
The Bills, they own New York right now. Best team in New York. 2-0, beat the Jets, beat my Giants. I got the Bills winning this too. I just think they're the better team. They haven't played the Jets, and the Giants aren't great teams, but neither is Cincinnati. So I think they get the win here. They go head home. Bills Mafia is going to be all pumped up, 2-0.
They're loving it. You see that guy with his baby?
That was good.
Yeah, that's funny. I like that.
He got his Zumba pants on. Yes. Yeah. That was classic. That was good. I gave that a like today on Instagram.
Lions-Eagles. This is my second favorite game of the week, to be totally honest with you. Yes, even over the Steelers, 49ers. It's not even my game of the week. But I'm going to go with, in this matchup, I am going with the Lions. And I'm going to go, the Lions are riding on a high. I'm not buying into this team being a playoff team. I don't even want to go there. But I feel like the Eagles are in a little bit of trouble. The injuries, especially, not everyone's going to be 100% healthy. I know people will probably be playing by Sunday. But the Lions are riding high right now, and I like that momentum. And I think they're going to be a very strong road team going into Philly. Preems.
Yeah, I got the opposite on this. I'm going Philadelphia to win this one at home. I like what the Lions have done. I mean, they beat a banged-up Chargers team. They had a ton of injuries. The Chargers heading all the way to the East Coast. Got that game right last week. But I think going into Philadelphia, I don't think that Detroit's ready to compete with teams like Philadelphia yet. Obviously, it looks like the Packers are the team of the NFC North right now.
Yep.
So I don't see Detroit making the playoffs either, like you said.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to have to go with the Eagles here.
It's going to be a good game nonetheless. I think Patriots-Jets, I don't even know if we have to go into a lot of discussion right here. I think this might be a sweep. Maybe not, but I'm going with the Patriots.
Yeah, what are the Jets going to do at quarterback? They got, is it Falk is the guy that was in there, the young guy from Washington State?
Yeah.
But they got to go out and find a backup. There was rumors flying around about Kaepernick maybe.
Here we go.
But I don't know. I mean, obviously you're down to your third-string quarterback, and I just don't see it.
Against New England?
Against New England. I got New England's defense again in fantasy, so I'm looking good. I'm looking for another 30 points from New England's defense, and I got New England here.
Oh, easy call there. Falcons-Colts. Believe it or not, this is not my game of the week, but I was close on Tuesdays. If Andrew Luck was in this game, I would say game of the week. No offense to Brissett. I'm just saying that I think there's some other games that are catching my eye. But Dane Hancho, one of the analysts here on the Game Sports Show, and Justin Hykel, obviously, as you heard earlier in the show, and one of our analysts, obviously, as everybody knows, Dane's a Falcon fan. Justin is a Colt fan. He wanted to make sure that I mentioned that, and that's going to be a nice little rivalry game.
Where are they watching the game this week?
Dane is actually still in Red Lake fighting fires. Justin's going to be on his couch as a potato, as he would say. But that's going to be a very good game. I was torn about where to go on this, but I am going the Falcons route on this game. Preems.
I got the Falcons, too. I'm with you on that one, Dave. The Colts are a good team. I mean, even without Andrew Luck, their defense, their offense, they got the right pieces. But the Falcons look good against Philly. I think they keep on riding that momentum, and they got something going there. And I feel Atlanta's going to win this one.
Cameron Ridley screwed me. That's the reason why I lost fantasy last week, because it was against Cameron Ridley. Oakland Raiders and Vikings. Preems, I didn't let you go first yet.
Okay, the Vikings. Yeah, I got tough one here. It's in Minnesota, though. Yeah, okay, I'm just looking now. I got the Vikings here. They get that run game established. Oakland's look pretty good. Josh Jacobs has looked great running back. I like him a lot.
They're not out of place. The Oakland Raiders are not out of place. It's going to be a close game. I think it's like a field goal differential.
I think it's tight, but the running game is going to get going for Minnesota and Dalvin Cook. He's going to eat on Sunday, and I got the Minnesota Vikings.
Guy's a beast. And you know what? I'm still feeling hooked on a Thielen. That's where I am.
I love that. They're my favorite duo in the NFL, Thielen and Diggs. I think they're the best 1-2 combo. And maybe not the best, but...
Which one's better in your opinion?
Well, you look at with Odell and Landry, and now you got Antonio Brown, Josh Gordon, and Edelman.
Maybe Gronk pretty soon.
And if you get Gronk back, that's just insane. But I like Thielen and Diggs. I like them a lot. I got to see Minnesota live in person last year, right. and it was a great atmosphere. But those are my two. I like the way they play it. Thielen, guy, how can you not like his story? Yeah. Undrafted, he went to a small school, made his way to the NFL. Now he's the last couple of years, been one of the top receivers in the NFL. So how do you not like that guy? And Diggs, that play against New Orleans, Dustin's team.
And Jamie the Trader. Yeah, frig.
So I like those guys, and I'm a closet Vikings fan.
Viking, you know what? They have a very nice field as well, I should say. Preems, we're going to go above the 30 minutes. It looks like you're already at 9 minutes past. I said it was 10, so we'll go through this as quickly as we can here.
Okay, let's roll.
Let's roll. Ravens, Chiefs. I'm going to go first in this one. I'm doing this as a pure biased pick because I need some salvage in my fan hat here for the Steelers. I'm going the Chiefs. Preems.
Yeah, I'm with the Chiefs here. I think this might be the game of the week. This
is your game of the week?
Two young quarterbacks. Should be some points scored in this game. If you're a fan of scoring points, this is the one to watch.
Broncos, Packers. Preems.
Packers. Broncos look terrible right now.
They are not special whatsoever.
Those first three drives from Green Bay last week looked unbelievable. Their offense was clicking on.
Can Rodgers and Green Bay keep that up, though?
I don't know, because they kind of slowed down in the second half of that game. So who knows? The first half they were flying, and then second half Minnesota only got back in that game and almost came back to win. So we'll see if we can keep that up, but they look great in that first quarter. It was unreal.
Well, definitely good start to the Packers here. Panthers-Cardinals. I'll go first on this one. And I'm sorry, I know I'm going against everything, but I'm thinking my boy Christian McCaffrey. I named my fantasy team Crispy McChicken because of him. I'm going with McCaffrey and the Panthers on this one. Preems.
I got the Cardinals. No Cam. I think that's a big hit. I mean, even though Cam has been playing very well, I think he's the leader of that team, and he makes that team run when he's on. And I got Kyler Murray and the Cardinals pulling this one off.
Murray and the Cards. Giants, Bucks. I already know where you're going with this, Preems, but I'm going to go the same route as you, I think. I'm going Giants.
I got the Giants here, too.
Daniel
Jones.
Andrew Jones. Well, Daniel Jones replacing Eli Manning.
Danny Dimes.
What about Eli Manning?
Dimes.
There's a guy on the market. Why can't teams look at maybe trading for Eli Manning?
Because they've watched him play the last 3 years. Why would you want him? Why would you want him? And I'm a huge Eli fan. He's been amazing for the Giants. 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. I cannot say anything bad about Eli Manning, but it is time for the Giants to move on. Time for Eli to retire. There's nothing for him to prove.
Nope.
Super Bowl champion 2 times. And he's been handling it pretty well. You've seen the interviews in the media. He's a team player. Yeah. That's the kind of guy you want on your team. And he realizes this would happen. When you go 0-2 and you draft a young quarterback, they're going to get an opportunity to play.
Yep.
Danny Dimes had a great preseason. So let's see what we can do when the Bullets are flying and it's live now. Let's see what he has to bring to the table. He looked great in preseason. Hopefully he can do the same thing, and hopefully they can pull off the win. I got Giants.
Giants, good pick. Saints, Seahawks. I'm sorry, I got to go the route of the Saints here, Preems. You?
Yeah, hey, we're agreeing way too much tonight. I got the Saints here, too. I think Teddy Bridgewater, I think he pulls it off. I think he's got a lot to prove. He's got a big chip on his shoulder, and he decided to stay in New Orleans when he could have maybe went elsewhere and been a starter.
Yep.
And this is an opportunity to show that he is still a quality quarterback and get the job done in the NFL. I got the Saints.
Good career decision. Smart. I like that. Respect that. Texans, Chargers, Preems.
Yeah, Chargers still beat up. I think Deshaun Watson, I really like what he's doing right now in Houston, and I got the Texans.
See, I was really torn on what I was going to do, but we are agreeing too much tonight. I had the Texans written, and I'm sticking with the Texans. Steelers, Niners, I'm going first. I got to be optimistic here. Steelers bounce back. Mason Rudolph, 3 touchdowns this week, in my opinion, going that way. Preems.
All right, this is where we have to differ here.
Perfect. There we go. Niners did too.
Niners 2-0.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, not tough games the Niners had, but they're at home here. Let's see what if they're made of.
Jimmy G.
Yeah, he had a great game last game. That's his first good game as a Niner. I mean, he obviously had the injury, so he hasn't had that many starts, but that was his first good game as a Niner, and hopefully he can keep it going. Their running backs, their starter went down, and they're producing. They got Breda and who's the other guy there? He had a great game last week, and so they're looking pretty good. I got the Niners.
Was it
Morissette?
Yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah.
So, I think the Niners overall are going to be good, but I got to be optimistic with the Steelers. I went with the biased pick.
You got it.
Got to be biased. Rams and Browns. This is my game of the week. I'm going there. And I didn't say it, but my snooze of the week is Patriots-Jets. Believe it or not, that was my snooze of the week, not Cowboys-Dolphins. I think it's going to be more of a snooze. I think the Patriots are just going to steamroll the Jets.
So you're getting third-string quarterback and New England's defense, but Bill Belichick is going to be
a disaster. And snooze because of if you like high scoring for one team and you like playing beginner mode on Madden, you might like it, but I don't like that kind of game. I think the Giants-Bucks might be a better matchup. Sorry, Prims, but that's my snooze.
I'll tune into that one before I tune into the Patriots-Jays games. Although I have Patriots defense and I have Sony Michel, so I wouldn't mind seeing a early Sony Michel touchdown and then just watch the defense go after the third-string quarterback and get turnovers and pick sixes like they did against Miami. And I can sit back and enjoy the rest of my Sunday knowing I got my fantasy matchup locked down.
I like that. Rams-Browns, though, as I was saying, once again, this is going to be a very close matchup, and I'm sorry I'm not doing this as a biased opinion. I think the Browns are actually going to have a big test this week, but they will not defeat the Rams. I'm going with the Rams. Preems.
I got the Browns. I think this is their measuring stick game. And there was so much hype in the offseason. They come out. They lose week 1 to Tennessee. They thought they were going to win week 1. They come back. They get the win against the Jets. Everyone thought they should win. This is the game. Primetime television. Sunday night. They're going to be put to the test against Super Bowl finalists last year, Los Angeles Rams, and I think they're going to be fired up. And I think that motivation, being at home, it's going to be a nice atmosphere there in Cleveland. They probably hadn't a Sunday night game with that type of atmosphere in a long time.
Nope.
I just think that Cleveland, I feel the momentum and everything from last week and the crowd and them being a little bit of a chip, losing that first game, a little bit of chip on their shoulder. They want to prove that they are a playoff team and they can compete with the best. They come out and they find a way to get the job done.
I'd be very tight game of the week. That would
be a nice one. That would be a nice game.
I'm definitely tuning in that Sunday nighter for sure. Bears, Redskins, Monday nighter. I am going the route of the Bears. Preems.
Yeah, I'm on the Bears here too. Hopefully the Bears can figure it out on offense. They've been boring to watch. Mitchell Trubisky, I said it when they drafted him. I said wrong decision. They passed up Deshaun Watson. I thought he was the guy back when they drafted Mitchell Trubisky, and he is proving me right now. So I hope he gets it figured out. I mean, early in the preseason, everyone was predicting him to be the MVP of the league. So hopefully he can get it figured out. I think the Bears win this. Their defense is too good. Washington's not good at all. They might be the bottom of them and the Giants both suck, so who knows, NFC East.
That's very not as competitive as other divisions, as I'd like to put it in a very nice way.
I think the Cowboys are good, but everyone else, the Eagles will be there too, but Washington and Giants, they got to get it figured out.
Now, see, Hykel's picks, we will to remind listeners of that quick. He did have the Titans. We're not counting that. The Colts, Bengals, Packers, Cowboys, Pats, Lions, Vikings, Ravens, Bucks, Cardinals, Seahawks, Niners, Texans, Rams, and the Bears. A lot of similarities in our picks this week. Last week, we didn't actually do an update because of our generator didn't update on time, but we will have a full recap next week of week 4 about what our scores are. Preems, I know you know your score, I believe, from last week.
I had a couple picks different than what I did in my pool, so I don't exactly. We'll have to get that into the generator and get it figured out.
Get that going. We'll get that by Wednesday at Sportscenter. We'll have the full who's in the lead right now. One name that we're missing in this pick, though, is the defending champ of our pickup pool, Jamie Antonello. And he's wondering how he can get in. I don't know how we can fit him in this year. He might not be able to defend his crowd.
He needs proof. He
Yeah.
needs proof of his picks for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or at least last week anyway. Well, at least he's better at pick 'em than he is at fantasy because I kicked his ass by 60 points last week.
Definitely not a fantasy guy. Dave McCaig, Matt Premo inside Northern Superior's Tap Room. It's been a lengthy extended edition of today's show, especially on here on part 3, rather. Sorry, would this be considered part 3, I guess? This would be actually considered part 4. Sorry, I'm getting the reminder. This is part 4 of the show. We haven't done a part 4 of the show in quite some time. This is an extension, as I mentioned. Wednesday, we did not have a show from Northern, so this has been in the pocket, local, and NFL with myself and Matt Premo. Preems, I have 2 thumbs up this week. This was supposed to be a part 5 or part 4 extended, but we don't have the time to do that. So my thumbs up this week is going to MLB route with Calvin Biggio heading for the cycle for the Jays. Third Jay to do that. He was the second father-son combo to be able to do that as well. Thumbs up there. Thumbs up there also to ice dancing. Why am I mentioning that? Tessa Virtue and Scott Moore announced they're retiring after a tour. And Tuesday, October 9th, Rock the Rink in the Soo is an ice dancing thing that's going on here in Soo, Ontario. Make sure you check that out. And to get to the conclusion portion, to give a quick shout out to all of our sponsors here on the Game Sports Show and partners, including our partners, Soo Online on TV, ESPN 1400, Sovereign Communications, Northern Superior Brewing Company, and Sportscenter Bar and Grill, of course, especially with our additional sponsors and contributors, Icebreaker Sports Bar and Grill, Discover the Canvas, the Salon, Superior Post Shop, Big Brother, Big Sister, Northern Careers in Need, and of course, a big part of the show, North Shore Sports and Auto. We got some big stuff going on with North Shore Sports and Auto this year. Very excited with that. And we also have an opportunity for a lot of people that want to be a part of our sponsorship. We have ESPN 1400 sponsorships, on TV sponsorships, and our website and our podcast sponsorships. So if you want to be involved, just reach out to yours truly or Scott Mason. Now, Preems, I want to give a quick reminder to everybody that our next show will be on Monday at 6 p.m. on ESPN 1400 with Scott Nason. Yours truly will not be live on location next week due to working until 7 p.m. in my full-time occupation. So it will be Scott, EJ, and Butch. I do plan to call in if possible. Make sure you tune in to Scott, though. Here in Soo, Ontario, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday next week, for sure, we'll be locked and loaded. But this weekend, we'll be on location everywhere. Alex will be with the Hounds. Hykel's going to be doing some stuff with the Soo College. And Preems is going to be at the high school games. We got Scott Nason being at the Thunderbirds and Eagles on the weekend. Yours truly is unavailable this weekend, obviously, because that's why my great analysts and co-hosts are assisting me this weekend with a lot of coverage, but we're going to be everywhere this weekend and obviously going in for the rest of the year. Very excited to work with all the teams. And, of course, Daniel Scarpino being on the road with Algoma University, providing us our weekend reports. Whew. I had to make sure I got all that out. I think that was record time. Preems, and of course, thank you to you for coming on by and making it here tonight.
Great stuff. Glad to be here. This is a great atmosphere. Come on down if you ever get a chance. This is my first time here.
Really? Did I break your? I popped his chair.
Yeah, I tried
first
to come.
Time in the Northern.
I tried to come before, but it wasn't open when I came. But this is great. Great atmosphere. Awesome. Beer's unreal.
Yeah, beer's great. Blake Winter knows exactly what he's doing as he sits in the background. I told him I'm going to get him on radio one time, and he will get his rear end on radio sometime soon. I promise you that. He's got some projects he's working on the back. I can't wait for that to be released. I'm keeping my mouth shut when it comes to that, but let me tell you, it's got some good stuff brewing here inside the Northern Spear Brewing Company.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, great stuff all the time here. And I'm happy they were able to combine the show. I love the work that we have here at Sportscenter in Northern to combine and listen to listeners. Extra length on your show. You're listening to us a lot longer. I know you have a lot of things to do today, so for everyone sticking around, we appreciate it. Scott Nason, our board operator tonight. Me as the assistant board operator, give myself a little kudos. And to everyone involved with the show, especially yourself, Premo, Justin, Daniel, and Alex being here tonight, for all the work that you guys do with myself and Scott. We couldn't appreciate it more. We wouldn't be where we are without the work of our analysts, co-hosts, and everyone involved in the show and all our partners. So shout out to that. Don't hesitate to follow us on all of our pages, especially at the Game Sports Show on Facebook and Instagram. We do have a contest given away coming up in the next 2 weeks in October, right before, it'll be a week or two before Halloween. We'll have a big contest giveaway. We're going to be hopefully doing contest giveaways monthly. We used to do one bi-weekly. We're going to stick to it monthly with some bonus giveaway draws, and we're going to make sure that the prize giveaways are at big amount opposed to some little ones at a time. So make sure you keep an eye on our follower basis for that. Breams, letting you go. Signing off here on the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. You've been listening from inside the tap room here Thursday, September the 19th, closing tonight's edition from the tap room. And here I am to remind you, keep your stick on the ice, swing your bat, catch your touchdown, drain your threes, and shoot your shots. Booyah.